Time to put your Galleons where your mouth is. By Tsume Yuki. Chapter 14. Read all about it! Turais. I know I've been a crappy brother, and I'm really, really sorry. I shouldn't have said those things. You're always looking out for me and Reggie. That's the way it's always been. I just caught up in having friends, and I like spending time with the rest of the Marauders. But they're not my brothers. Close, but not great. You and Reggie are. I'm not good at this emotional crap. That was always your thing. You looked out for the both of us since we were born, but you don't have to give it up. Please come back to Hogwarts. I bloody well miss you. Can't even sum up the effort to sneer at Snape. See, Snape. Not even a bad nickname. So, just come home, please. Sirius. As Black as One is Painted, by Rita Skeeter. Having had the distinct pleasure of meeting Turais Black before, I can confirm several things. First and foremost, the boy is talented, almost ridiculously so. The little spell work I saw him perform was always wordless and without wand movements. Yet each spell was perfect each and every time. Secondly, the boy is charming. Pleasantly so. He's a brilliant young man, and I was most certainly concerned to write about his flight from Hogwarts. From when we spoke face to face, he was an intelligent young man whose only ambition at the time seemed to be a family-oriented one, to look out for his two younger brothers. That was all he told me he wanted to do with his life, which, for our law enforcement, seems to be an exceedingly good thing. For in the early hours of this morning, the Auror office received a call informing them that the terrorists, known as Death Eaters, were out in force and attacking the Muggle village of Barmston in East Yorkshire. As our dear readers are well aware, these Death Eaters have taken to attacking both Muggles and those of Muggle blood, spouting that it is the right of purebloods to rule our society. As always, our valiant Orbers responded to the call in force, apparating to the location, expecting to find the usual scene. Burning houses, bodies upon the ground, and blood splattered across the grass. Instead, they were faced with 16 captured Death Eaters, all with their wand hands severed, all tied up back to back with one another and unable to move, clearly stunned. Curious as always and desperate to know the truth, I approached Muggle-born witch Amy Mayers, aged 79, for answers. It was horrifying. I've obviously read the prophet regarding these attacks, but never did I think the one would strike so close to home. I'm no longer a young woman, but I was quite ready to defend my village. Yet by the time I had arrived at the scene with my wand at the ready, 3 of those Death Eaters were already down. And then there he was. At first, I thought it was an aura, so effectively he moved. He never once went to start a fight with the Death Eaters, only protecting the Muggles of the village. But the second one engaged him in a duel, the aura would hit him with a collection of spells, before severing their wand hand and moving on to the next one, once he'd tied his previous opponent up. He faced 4 of those beastly people at once, and still came out with little more than a slice up his arm. He put an end to their ways so quickly I couldn't quite tell what had happened. It wasn't until he approached me asking after a newspaper that I realized he wasn't an aura at all, but instead a boy who couldn't be out of Hogwarts yet. Yes, you read that right, readers. A mysterious boy appearing out of nowhere and stopping a Death Eater raid all by himself? Whoa, Miss Mayers continues. It wasn't until I handed over the newspaper in question, still quite flummoxed by his odd request, that I recognized him. For he'd been on the front page but a few days ago. He left before I could stop him, but it was that Hogwarts runaway, Turais Black. He was quite incredible and so polite when he spoke to me that I am certain he's under no enchantments but his own. If war young men were like he is, then perhaps this war wouldn't be happening. Yes, readers, our mysterious savior of the Death Eaters' raid upon Barmston was none other than Turais Rigel Black. Clearly, when Mr. Black said he had more important things to do than to play student at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, he was being quite serious. Well, law enforcement still have no idea how to handle the Death Eater attack ran by he who must not be named. Young Ed Black seems more than equipped to deal with it. What does it say about our law enforcement when a 16-year-old child, no matter how much of a wonder child he is, can do a better job? Our valiant aurors were able to disclose this information to the prophet, though. Last night, at 1:29 a.m., a Death Eater raid was conducted upon Barmston, East Yorkshire, but was stopped by an unknown vigilante. Said vigilante severed the wand hand of each and every Death Eater present, and has placed unknown spell work upon the wounds that prevents successful reattachment of the appendage corresponding to how much dark magic the owner of said limb has performed. If you have any information regarding these activities, please contact the Auror office at the Ministry of Magic. Well, I don't know about the rest of Britain, but this reporter is feeling a bit overwhelmed. We have a young boy who seems not only capable, but willing to stand up for those who cannot, and is already making an impact upon the war effort against he who must not be named. And I wait, ready to report on his next movements with trembling limbs. If you plan to continue this work, Turais Black, I pray that you stay safe. The Altar Umbra by Rita Skeeter. As many of you should be aware, the Daily Prophet has been diligently reporting upon Turais Rigel Black, heir to the most ancient and noble house of Black, and his antics of the past month. There, it has been 5 weeks since the 6th-year Slytherin renounced both his position of prefect and his status as a student of Hogwarts, leaving the schooling in a whirlwind of activity. Since then, concerned family members and aurors alike have been trying to track the boy down, and young Turais Black has evaded them all with an enviable grace. The boy first resurfaced in the Death Eater raid of Barmston, where he is said to have single-handedly taken down 16 Death Eaters, severing their wand hands as he went. As of now, only one of those hands has been reattached. All those captured were proven to have a dark mark upon their left forearm, and all have recently been convicted to sentences in Azkaban. Since, he has been cited in 6 different Death Eater attacks, the most recent being the attack upon Godric's Hollow, in which one Rodolphus Lestrange was recovered by aurors, like all others, with a severed hand. Witnesses speak of a duel between both Lestrange and Black, which saw the former becoming more and more enraged until killing curses were flying about. Luckily enough, Black, or Altar Umbra, as he is now being referred to by the general public, was able to dodge all curses thrown his way and block any potentially lethal hits with the debris nearby. And then, in a true bout of irony, Black proceeded to summon up a gathering of snakes, which eventually led to the capture of Lestrange, thought to be an inner circle member of the Death Eaters. As with every time that this young hero has helped out his nation, Black was gone before the aurors even arrived on the scene, leaving nothing but a selection of downed Death Eaters in his wake and a town of incredibly grateful people. Interestingly enough, Godric's Hollow is known to be the hometown of our very own Dark Lord Defender, Albus Dumbledore. In light of this discovery, I tracked down the oldest living resident, one Bathilda Bagshot, whom had not only witnessed the Altar Umbra in action, but had the honor of living near a young Albus Dumbledore and his family. Bagshot, aged 118, and author of A History of Magic, had this to say: "I've wrote about history before, of course, but there's something truly magical about being able to watch it in action. I knew Albus when he was a boy, back when his family moved into Godric's Hollow. He'd never had the conviction to take on a Dark Lord when he was 16, regardless of what a bright boy he was. No, there's something special about this Turais Black, that much is rather obvious, and I look forward to writing about him in my next book." It's clear that Turais Black is heading for big things, but just how far can this boy go? Can he really stand a chance against he who must not be named? This reporter holds a tentative hope that just maybe he can. Sirius, I would never, ever hold a grudge against you. You or Regulus. The two of you are my world, my little baby brothers. I would die 1,000 deaths before I let either of you get so much as a scratch. If you ever asked father or mother, they'd tell you I was a weird child, quiet, with an extraordinary grasp on my magic. I remember everything. I was self-aware from a very young age, and I can remember sitting next to your crib on Christmas morning, using my magic to cheer you up. I've looked out for both you and Reggie since you were so very young, and I will never give it up. It's my job as an older sibling to look out for you, to treasure every moment I can spend with you and protect you from everything, be it our parents or the evils of this world. That's why I'm not coming home yet. I need to sort out the Death Eaters and Voldemort. I can't just sit idly by anymore. I managed well enough at Hogwarts, but I need to get more involved within this war. I can't just sit on the sidelines anymore and hope that the two of you will never have to face the fighting. And if that means taking them all down by myself, then that is what I will do. You are my little brother, and it is my job to do everything in my power to protect you. And seeing as I am more than a little powerful, then there's a lot I can do to make sure the two of you never come to harm. I promise I won't die. Stay safe, Turais.